bit of a smaller beveler. But on these smaller flowers, a lot of times where these lines are closer together, I don't like to use a big beveler. You know, some of this gets a little too dry. It doesn't start looking or feeling right. I'll put a sponge on it. If I'm beveling out in the background and my tool leaves a few tracks, it's no big deal because it's going to get smashed down. But if it's out in here somewhere and I leave tracks, I'll go back and smooth it up because it'll be seen otherwise. Of course, if I'm going around a real tight inside curve, I'd have to go to a smaller beveler. I see a lot of beginners, especially when they're beveling these long knife cuts, they'll bevel it real deep all the way to the end, and I like to feather them out till it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and just barely disappear. Keeps things, for me anyway, I like the flow better that way. If they make them real deep all the way to the back, everything looks too blocky for me. lots of different ways to split the directions in these circles. Some people will just leave this out and put stems coming in from both sides and then leave a little tiny one in the middle. Some will put a leaf right there, or put a leaf going this way and it splits underneath the leaf. Some overlap the stems with an opening. There'll be an opening right here, and one side will go underneath the other one and come off this way. And a lot of people do that, and I like doing it, but sometimes if I see a lot of people doing that, I'll try to do something just a little bit different. Sometimes I actually like what I see other carvers doing better than my own, but I'll do it a little bit different just so I can be different from them. A lot of carving, though, is interesting. You can get 5 or 6 guys to carve the exact same pattern, for instance, and each one of them will cause the layout to look different by how he uses his swivel knife. Sometimes I see beginners do a pattern and it'll look just that. It'll look like a beginner did it, because the stems and the leaves and the flowers won't have any style to them. It'll be cut. The pattern will be the exact same cut, but there's little subtle nuances, I guess you could say, to where your knife goes on the pattern that can cause the stem to look short and bulky, long and slim, just sometimes out of whack, and a beginner won't notice it. He won't really be putting any style, any artistic flair, I guess you could say, into the pattern, even though it's the same pattern that somebody with 30 years of carving experience does, and it'll just won't look the same.